Hello everybody, welcome to me Ministry Channel. I am doing a video today on aging gracefully. Before I get into that, I want to say that I will be doing some more fitness type videos because some people said they missed that and they missed sort of my weigh-in videos. It's just that I've been so distracted with other things I haven't gotten around to it, but I will be adding those as well. And I'm also not mukbangs, but I'll be doing where I'm going to try out some food for the camera and see how I like it, just food reviews. So this will be sort of a mishmash of health, wellness, and ministry for the incel community and the 47-year-old virgins like myself. I'm wearing my contact lenses, folks, and that's been quite an eye-opening experience. No pun intended. I'll get into that later, but I want to talk today about aging gracefully. So recently I saw a video of Madonna strutting her stuff at the Pride, call it Pride, more demonic LGBTQ month, Alphabet People month, in New York City, Times Square. And there's a lot of criticisms, but none of this is misogyny or anything like that. Because look at the wonderful Dolly Parton. She's 80 years old and she's still performing. But what is the difference between Madonna and Dolly Parton? Well, Dolly Parton is, first of all, genuinely talented. Not that Madonna is not talented, it's just that she made her career off shock value rather than being a real musician. And Dolly Parton actually wrote hundreds of songs that are worldwide famous, and she plays instruments and she can sing well and never made a career on that, despite having a very nice physique. Dolly Parton was beautiful, but she also had something to back it up. And it's not that Madonna is completely void of talent, it's just that her thing has always been shock. So how are we shocked now that she's 67 years old and parading in her panties, putting her leg over plexiglass, exposing her no-no parts, with all these dancers all around her in suggestive poses? If this were 1995, yeah, people would be shocked, but we've seen it all, and Madonna is unfortunately an example of what not to do as you get older. Now, people don't criticize male stars as much because they don't do that in general. Mick Jagger, he's just singing like they're playing instruments and singing on stage, and yeah, they're old, but they're just dressed normally, like a bunch of guys together, just playing their guitars and doing it. And unfortunately, when you make an image of sexy, which is nothing, they keep saying Madonna pushed boundaries. I guess being a prostitute is pushing boundaries, but nothing she did was anything revolutionary. She just packaged it in a way that made it look that way, and she just changed her clothes and dyed her hair, and then they say, oh, she reinvented herself. But all that stuff was hype. Before we had TikTok and before we had social medias, we had MTV and cable television. And that's what all they talked about was Madonna a lot, and what she was doing with Michael Jackson. But anyway, back to the point. Madonna was doing all these gyrating all over the place at her age. And the criticism is not that she's too old to sing. That's not it. She's not too old to perform. It's the way she's doing it. And at a certain point in her life, I hope she realizes that she's got to hang up those panties and be a mature woman and stop doing these things, because it's not good. It's really ruining her legacy. Like if she just had called it quits like 10 years ago, stopped doing these performances and just stuck to the music, then she would have been able to do that. But maybe it's time for her to take a bow, as she says, and the show is over. Even some of the gays were saying, Madonna, we're just not thinking this is the best idea. And she has she's big with the LGBTQ and all those people, and I just think that that's an example. So growing old gracefully, it's just you have to shift your life. Your life has to shift, and it would be boring if you were caught in the throngs of youth, your whole life you can't be that way. In fact, as I'm in middle age, I feel like this is a different role for me. I'm no longer the kid in the room. Like when I was on the internet 20 years ago, I was always the young one. Now I'm the old one. And I get criticized already, and I'm not even that old. I'm not as old as Madonna, and she's almost 70 years old, but I don't go around parading in my panties and doing things like that because I know it's just not appropriate. It's not appropriate in any age, but she's doing this, and I think that people are understanding. It's opening up their eyes, like, oh wow, maybe our celebrities aren't so great. You know, seeing Madonna get old in front of everyone, maybe it's sort of a big red pill for everyone that our celebrities that we put on a pedestal, you know, maybe they're really not that great. Maybe they're human like everyone else, and they can't stay young forever. They can't do those things forever, and it gets old, you know, so to speak. It gets old doing these disgusting, dirty things that she had banked on all these years with all the things she did. Like she put out the book about sex and bondage, and all these things happened, you know, when I was a teenager. I remember all the hype about it, and even, I'll tell you what, to show how out of touch it is. I mean, even as someone my age group, when I was in high school, no one was a big Madonna fan. When I was in high school, none of the girls or the Nancy boys, none of them were into Madonna. No one. They were into Ace of Base and maybe even Kurt Cobain was. I mean, we were zennials. We weren't into Madonna. We weren't into any of those 80s people. You know, that was Gen X and boomers that were into that. So even by the time I was in high school, Madonna was fading. You know, she was only in her 30s, but she was more for adults, not for teenagers anymore. And I think that this is an example. When I saw Madonna doing this thing, I just felt bad. I felt, oh wow, you know, I just feel so bad that she can't get the message that, you know, she's not 30 anymore. She can't do these things, or she could break a hip. So there's nothing wrong with getting old. You can get old and look good for your age. And if someone told me it doesn't mean looking good, yes it does. If you look good for your age, you look good. You just don't look as pristine. You know, like if you see like an older painting, it's still very nice, but it's faded over time, and it's not as fresh looking as it used to be. And that's just what Madonna is. She's just not fresh anymore. Nothing about her is. And I'm only using Madonna as an example, but I just think that it's eye-opening to see all the people see this Madonna she's so big. You know, she's all these years, all these decades, she's been in the media. And now they're seeing it before everyone's eyes. She's melting. You know, the witch is melting. And I hate to say that, and I don't mean to sound mean, but it's just that it's sort of it's just a big eye opener for everyone that this happens, and it's not a pretty picture. Speaking of contact lenses, folks, contact lenses for me. I can see every speck of every detail like true vision. Like with my glasses, I can see as clearly, but it's not like a normal person, because you've got the glasses sitting in front of you. But with no glasses, it's like everything I see, for good or bad. And, you know, I can see every line, every wrinkle on my face. I can see every sag and drag in my skin. But it doesn't bother me, because I am not 22 anymore. I'm not that pretty boy anymore. I am an older person. Okay? So I have to take this, you know, but God's my witness. I'll never be out there like Madonna, you know, in my underwear doing that sort of thing. So I learned that it's not a cope. It's it's a way of looking at things where I just can't do that anymore. You know, so that's it. Hope you all enjoyed this video. And Madonna, we're just going to pray for Madonna, you know, that she is, I don't know if there's any hope for her at this point, as she approaches to be old age. You know, 70 to me, like 70 or above is really old age, in my opinion. Some people say she's already old, but well, she's close to old age now, and I don't think she'll ever come to the Lord. But we can, you never know. Wouldn't it be nice if Madonna came to the Lord Jesus and she had a testimony, and she hung up those panties and decided to give herself Jesus, and that'd be nice. I think she's a witch. I think she's into Jewish mysticism, which is a big no-no. So pray for Madonna, and just remember, folks, to grow old gracefully. You know, be seasoned, be well seasoned, like a well seasoned meat. Don't be a rotting tuna. Don't be a rotting can of tuna fish. Okay. Thank you all for watching. Go to my website, meetscalesplace.com, and remember, folks, say a prayer for some special day. Bye-bye.